A few decades ago, cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and New York were symbols of a prosperous America, a promising future, and the American dream. These metropolises were home to millions of people, offering unparalleled opportunities to those seeking a better life. But today, these same cities have seen their reputations collapse. Where innovation, progress, and hope once reigned, poverty, violence, and despair have taken their place. 2024 marks a turning point in this urban crisis. What led these economic and cultural giants to collapse in such a way? How have the economic crisis, the rise of inequalities, and the implosion of public services contributed to this spectacular degradation? In this video, we dive deep into this devastating transformation and reveal the mechanisms driving this downward spiral. The economic collapse, an increasingly dark reality. For decades, America was seen as the land of opportunity, a country where anyone could succeed, regardless of their past. The American dream seemed within reach for all, but the reality for more and more American citizens now resembles a waking nightmare. Economic inequalities have reached alarming proportions, plunging the most vulnerable into poverty they never imagined. Cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and New York, once symbols of success, are now overwhelmed by homelessness and decay. The COVID-19 pandemic worsened this situation, but the real shock came in 2024 when the United States fell into an unprecedented economic recession, threatening to sink even deeper into misery. Millions of citizens are now trapped in a spiral of unemployment and inadequate housing, while consumer goods prices soar and wages stagnate. Tent cities, slums in the heart of metropolises. One of the most poignant images of this decline is the massive appearance of slums in places like Los Angeles and San Francisco. Tents, makeshift camps, and waste littering the streets have now become part of the urban landscape. What was once a marginal phenomenon is now ubiquitous, even affecting the wealthiest neighborhoods. San Francisco, in particular, recorded over 28,000 public health complaints in 2023 due to the unsanitary conditions of camp areas. The lack of affordable housing is not only a matter of insufficient resources, but also a severe failure of public policies, which failed to anticipate the magnitude of the crisis. This situation has continuously deteriorated, and entire neighborhoods have been left abandoned. Food insecurity and the energy crisis. Families struggling to survive. As inflation wreaks havoc, access to basic needs like food and energy is becoming increasingly difficult. In 2024, food prices continue to rise, and many families must choose between paying their bills or feeding their children. Endless lines in front of food banks have become a daily sight in several large cities. But food insecurity is just one aspect of the crisis. The rise in energy prices, particularly electricity and gas, forces many families to make tough decisions, pay bills or buy food. For families in the north, the arrival of winter only worsens the situation. The energy crisis looms as an even greater threat, foreshadowing an uncertain future for millions of Americans. San Francisco, the fall of an iconic city. Once a model of innovation and influence, San Francisco is now experiencing relentless decline. In 2024, the streets are filled with makeshift camps and increasingly precarious living conditions. The cost of living has skyrocketed, while the lack of affordable housing takes its toll. The California dream seems a distant memory. Social tensions are becoming increasingly palpable, and the gap between the rich and the poor continues to widen. Tourism, once thriving, is now rare. Residents are leaving the city desperately searching for a safer, more affordable place to live. San Francisco, once a beacon of innovation, has become a battleground for survival for its most vulnerable residents. Los Angeles, when glamour turns into chaos. Los Angeles, once the city of stars and glamour, is now undergoing a radical transformation. The explosion of poverty and homelessness in the city has been devastating. Despite massive efforts by the city to fund homeless aid programs, the situation has only worsened. In 2021, more than $620 million was allocated to fight homelessness. But in 2024, tents still occupy the city's streets. Los Angeles' decline is also manifested in a sharp rise in crime and crumbling public infrastructure. Residents are increasingly feeling unsafe, and many are choosing to flee this once iconic city. New York, the Big Apple in crisis. The Big Apple, long a model of prosperity, is not exempt from the widespread decline. In 2024, the city faces a 33% increase in rent prices, plunging many families into overcrowded conditions. The cost of living has reached new heights, and crime is rising alarmingly. While millions of people continue to flock to the city, seeking new opportunities, the challenge of maintaining an acceptable quality of life is becoming insurmountable for many. The future of New York, especially in the face of the recession, seems increasingly uncertain. Cities at the mercy of gentrification. At the heart of this decline, gentrification further exacerbates inequalities. Many large American cities like San Francisco, New York, and Los Angeles are seeing their historic neighborhoods transformed into expensive areas, pushing thousands of low-income residents out. Gentrification creates an even bigger gap between the rich and the poor, worsened by rising rents and the transformation of working-class neighborhoods into exclusive spaces. The health crisis and the medical shortage. The health crisis affecting these cities is not just related to the pandemic. In 2024, many urban areas are suffering from a shortage of medical services. Hospitals are overwhelmed, and access to care remains a major challenge. The lack of health insurance and hospital overcrowding exacerbate a health crisis that continues to worsen, affecting the most vulnerable. The rise in crime, a spiral out of control. Finally, the alarming rise in crime is a testament to the decline of these large cities. In 2024, crime reaches record levels in cities like Chicago and New York. Violent crimes are multiplying, exacerbated by social and economic tensions. Crime has become an omnipresent issue, making these cities increasingly dangerous for their inhabitants. A situation out of control. What can be done to save these cities? The question now is it too late to save these great metropolises? The recession, the housing crisis, social inequalities, and rising crime threaten to turn American cities into citadels of misery. The challenge is immense, but some solutions exist, although their implementation seems complex. It is more important than ever to rethink public policies, implement sustainable economic strategies, and restore basic services so that these cities can emerge from this downward spiral. The decline of these great American cities is a complex and alarming phenomenon, but understanding its root causes and consequences is a crucial first step in imagining a better future. We must be aware of this reality so that we do not let it worsen further.